Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts about the 40K universe. I am your host, Gershwin, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about Guilliman and his fight with Mortarion. We're going to talk about the last location of his battle. Now, in order to talk about the battle, you need to know the importance of the planet in which they fought. So we're going to cover that first. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K content every single day. And of course, if you have any suggestions or if you have any questions, comment down below. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on the planet of Yax. After Guilliman's resurrection in the year 999 of the 41st millennium, during the Ultramar campaign, and restoration as the Lord Commander of the Imperium, he embarked on the Indomitus Crusade to reclaim the worlds of the Imperium. However, the followers of the plague god Nurgle had assailed the worlds of the Ultramarines in the realm of Ultramar, and the infernal disease of the arch-enemy claimed far more lives than their weapons. Still engaged in the Indomitus Crusade, far from his homeworld, Guilliman redesignated Yax as a hospital world for the duration of the conflict. Yax, known as the Garden of Ultramar, is an imperial agri-world and a part of the realm of Ultramar that is ruled by the Ultramarine Space Marine chapter and lies in the Ultima Segmentum. Yax climates and fertility have made it one of the most naturally agriculturally productive worlds in the Imperium. The inhabitants have harvested the planet's inherent fertility, covering its surface with well-ordered farms and cultivated woodlands. There are no large cities on Yax, but many small towns dotted over the landscape, connected by an efficient system of fast hydroways. The oldest and most densely urbanized area of Yax is the ancient fortress city of First Landing, whose tall citadels have withstood the barrage of many invaders over the long centuries. Landing the sick and wounded on Yax's Hortusia spaceport took an amount of time congruent to the complexity of the task. The diseases spread by the plague god's servants were supernaturally potent, so quarantine procedures had to be strict. Like everything in Ultramar, if a job were deemed of enough importance to be done, then it was to be done correctly. As new patients were brought down by shuttle, decontamination crews waited on the landing fields and its surrounding mushroom patch of white dome tents. Between each trip, the shuttles were vigorously decontaminated on the wardship in orbit, for that was the responsibility of their medical captains. But ensuring the purity of the landing field fell to the Surgeon General's office on Yax. Adeptus Mechanicus biologians attached to the Officio Medicae on Yax calculated atmospheric re-entry patterns to burn the worst of any contamination remaining on the spacecraft's hull. Upon Yax, the lesser sick recuperated alongside the injured. Some of the diseases unleashed on Ultramar could be treated under medium-range quarantine conditions with standard medicines. Others required specialist care, up to and including Adeptus Ministorum-approved exorcism. Those suffering from more aggressive, spiritually corrupting demonic illnesses were held on specially commissioned void stations in orbit. As few as possible were euthanized. Around Yax, troops exhibiting symptoms were divided by type according to standard, strict protocols. Those who had died en route were easiest to separate. After the dead, the first appraised were those suffering purely from injury, be it physical or mental. They were also tested for disease. Those who proved free of secondary infestation were separated from the rest and taken to the surface via decontamination protocols at Starfort Corsteel, which had taken up anchor over Yax for the purpose. The remainder of the casualties judged to be suffering from the illnesses, whether physical or not, were returned to the main group. The sick were split into known and unknown pathogen groups, then further into physical, mental, and spiritual afflictions, then by grade of severity, and finally, all those groups were divided between the wounded sick and the merely sick. After all of this, the groups were further subdivided into number cohorts and relocated to holding vessels in permanent orbit. There, another round of anti-biological procedures were taken. Second and third rounds of testings virtually eliminated any possibility of transmission. Those that passed the third test were deemed safe and transferred to the surface of Yax, bound for facilities that treated all ailments. Yet Yax was not spared from the full brutality of the Plague Wars. In the year 111 of the 42nd millennium, the Great Unclean One, Ku'gath, the Plague Father, launched an invasion of Yaks at the head of the 7 demonic legions under his command. The existence of Yaks as a hospital world had greatly offended the Plague God, for it worked to disrupt his gifts to mankind, and his plan to add the realm of Ultramar to his own domain. Yet salvation was also at hand. For with the end of the Indomitus Crusade, following the Battle of Raukos, Robot Guilliman and his forces had returned to Ultramar to lead its defense and aid its beleaguered defenders. Guilliman concentrated upon defeating the forces of the Death Guard traitor legions, led by his brother, the demon Primarch Mortarion, who had joined Kugath upon Yaks after he had been stalemated by Guilliman. Guilliman followed Mortarion to the hospital world, and the two engaged in a great duel on this planet that marked the climax of the Plague Wars. The two Primarchs fought to a stalemate once more, and then Mortarion and the Death Guard retreated following the use of virus bombs. The Plague Wars of Ultramar ended shortly thereafter, when the forces of the other Chaos Gods invaded the Scour Stars as part of the Great Games, and Nurgle was forced to withdraw his own forces from Ultramar in order to defend his new domain. And those were 40 facts on the planet of Yaks. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever social media you guys use. I have a question for you guys. How many of you guys were satisfied with the battle between Guilliman and Mortarion? I felt like there was really nothing to lose between the battle between these two Primarchs. No one died. They're both okay, and they both kind of just escaped to, carry on, I guess. And it makes sense because GW is doing this because they want you to play as Guilliman, they want you to play as Mortarion, so they have to make a scenario in which both parties are okay and they can still be playable. But what does that mean for the future of the Primarchs? Does that mean that when the Lion comes out, when Leman Russ comes out, are we going to have stories that seem to further the story, but in reality they just leave it in the same spot? Because really there's not that, the outcome wasn't all that big. Like you heard in the lore, the planet was saved, Guilliman is still fighting, Mortarion ran away, but he's still fighting, and then Nurgle didn't get any stronger or weaker, because now he has to fight the Chaos Gods. So in reality, it was a stalemate, all the way around. And is that what we're going to see for the future of GW? Are you okay with seeing that for the future of the lore, or would you like a progression with the story? As far as me, I would like to see some type of conflict that has actual results, meaning maybe Mortarion dies, maybe Guilliman dies. Will we ever see that? I'm not sure. But I feel like we should push towards a certain goal, or we should feel like at the end of a certain campaign, something large has happened to the Imperium. You got that from the return of Guilliman, because like the big thing is that Guilliman is back, and the Primaris Marines are back. But at the end, between Mortarion and Guilliman, it's just kind of like there's no big change. You're kind of left in the same spot as before. The Primaris Marines are still there, Plague Marines are still there, Mortarion is out, and so is Guilliman. But again, comment down below, let me know what you think. Will we ever see any changes? Who knows? But again, guys, if you like our videos, support us on Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos for you guys. If you can't, we understand. Simply by liking, commenting, and sharing, it really helps out the channel. And if you want us to get into more discussion videos, jump on over to the Greater Wa episodes, and we can talk to you guys more in depth about these types of things on there. And then, of course, just comment down below, request a 40 facts video on a specific topic, and I'll try my best to like write out a thorough explanation and not just me rambling. But yeah, thanks for everything, guys. Don't forget that there's a giveaway going on right now. You can win an Orc starter set if you check out the Life of an Orc video. Just comment, like, and subscribe, and you have a chance to win a whole starter set on there. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.